What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Almahdi. I'm a multiple seven-figure Airbnb portfolio owner, and this channel is dedicated to teaching you how to start your Airbnb business from zero and build it up all the way to 6 to 7 figures. And by the way, I'm actually at one of my properties right now. You can see in the back. Stopped by the house. I'm getting some work done on the pickleball court. So I wanted to make sure that I could shoot a quick video for you and add as much value as I could. Today's video, we're going to dive into the 3 biggest mistakes hosts tend to make when they're starting out in their Airbnb journey. So make sure you watch this whole video so you can make sure to avoid these mistakes at all costs, because they will make or break your entire business, especially in 2025. So without further ado, number one mistake aspiring Airbnbers are making is choosing the wrong market. What do I mean by choosing the wrong market? There is a tool called airdna.co, and it helps you do property research, market research. So you can type in a city, an address, a town, and it'll give you a bunch of data on Airbnb and VRBOs, which is just another platform like Airbnb where you can list your short-term rentals. And it gives you all sorts of data such as occupancy, average daily rate, the number of properties in that entire market. And you want to make sure that you're choosing a market and doing research to tell you if it's a good or oversaturated market to go into. And most importantly, what are the regulations like for Airbnb and short-term rentals in general? Now, keep in mind, when we say Airbnb, we really are saying short-term rentals, because Airbnb is just one platform. We list our properties on Vrbo, Booking.com, and Airbnb. Okay? So choosing the right market is crucial because you want to make sure you're aware of regulation. Are short-term rentals permitted? How is the city looking at short-term rentals, right? And you want to do as much research using ChatGPT, AirDNA, Google, and even Airbnb.com, where you can type in a city and it'll give you what those short-term rental regulations are. You can decide whether or not it's a good market. I would stay away from oversaturated markets. And one thing I want to say about regulation is not always a bad thing, because if you know how to play within a regulated market, regulation actually scares a lot of your competition away. I'm actually in pretty regulated markets as well. And if you know what you're doing and you know how to stand out, you can actually dominate those markets by knowing how the regulations are and working amongst them. But with that said, there's definitely markets that I would just want to stay away from altogether. So keep that in mind. Choosing the right markets that are short-term rental friendly is crucial. So make sure you do that. Otherwise, you could end up getting a property where in a month to 6 months or so from when you get it, they end up banning Airbnb or short-term rentals. And then you've got a bit of a challenge on your hands, and you'll have to convert it to a long-term rental, or many ways you can handle that. But you want to stay away from all of that noise and not have to worry about that. All right. Number 2, and this is probably the biggest one. So these are not in any particular order, but choosing the wrong property. Okay. The wrong property. Now, what does that mean? Let's look at what the right property is. Okay. So if you've been on my channel, one thing I always talk about is having a property with the right amenities, loading up your property with amenities. So for instance, you can take a look here. I've got a pool. I've got a spa. There's the pickleball court over there. You can't see it. There's a fire pit, a game room. But these are the sorts of things that you need to pack your property with, and at least get a property that allows you the space or the means for you to put those amenities in there so that you can really stand out, especially in today's competitive marketplace. And if you do, you can end up absolutely crushing it in Airbnb in 2025. So you want to stay away from the wrong properties. So what are characteristics of wrong properties? Well, you need to understand the market that you go into. And again, using AirDNA and Airbnb, look at the properties in that area that you're choosing and make sure that your property has similar amenities or the ability to get better amenities in the property. Okay. So for example, if you're in an area where it's really hot and everyone's got a pool, a wrong property would be a property that does not have a pool. Okay. Otherwise you'll have to build one. So this is extremely important, especially when you're buying a property. Okay. You have to have at least the amenities, or at least the plan on being able to implement those sorts of amenities in your property, because as you know, amenities are the name of the game in 2025, and I have plenty of videos explaining that, because people are going to their properties for Instagrammable moments, creating memories, and most importantly, creating experiences and enjoying all the amenities that you have. That will separate you from all of the competition and make sure that you are booked year-round and being able to charge top dollar. Okay? So moving on to number three. Number three assumes you've already got your property, you've done your market research, you've gotten the right property, you know what city, you're in a good market, right? You've chosen the right property. Assuming that's all done, you've got to the listing now. You need to make sure that you don't have a bad photographer and poor quality photos. Guys, this is huge, because you can have a great property, you can be in the greatest market, but if your photos are not up to standard, now what do I mean by up to standard? Professionally shot, daytime photos, twilight photos, photos that capture the entire scenery. For example, on this property, I've got a nice shot where you can see all the mountains, you can see the pool, you can see the spa. That is something that you want to make sure is all captured in your photos. Your photos need to be bright, and they need to be sharp, and they need to allow you to demonstrate all of the great, exciting amenities and experiences that your guests can enjoy when they come and book your property. Because your photos are the number one way you're going to market your property and get clicked over all the other competition. So if you're watching, by the way, and your property is not performing as well as you think it should be, take a look at your photos. Oftentimes it's something that you can actually upgrade and enhance. You don't need to completely go to a new market or get a new property. Look at what you have. Are your photos up to par? Are they really capturing your property in the best light? And is the quality of your photos the best it can be? Okay. By the way, all of these are three major areas that I focus on when I work with my students. For those of you, by the way, that are interested in working with me one-on-one, you can click the link in the description and see if you qualify to work with me. I do work with a handful of students every month. And also for those of you that want to learn how to do Airbnb from total scratch, just click the link in the description. There's also a completely free course that you can watch where I teach you A to Z how to start your Airbnb business. So with that being said, all of these things are things that we make sure to avoid, because that is how you win on Airbnb and in short-term rentals. So again, to recap, make sure you're not making these three critical mistakes of not choosing the right market, not choosing the right property, and third, not having top-tier professional real estate photography and high-quality listings. If you're able to manage avoiding those three things, you have a chance at crushing it in 2025 on Airbnb. So for those of you that are interested in learning how to start your Airbnb business from scratch, feel free to click the link in the description. There's a completely free course. It's about an hour long, 50 minutes or so, and I teach you how to start your Airbnb business from A to Z, whether you're doing rental arbitrage, purchasing, or co-hosting. And for those of you that are more serious about getting one-on-one guidance and starting your Airbnb business, you can click the link in the description and apply to work with me one-on-one. And if you qualify, I'll reach out to you. Other than that, be great, and I hope you crush it in 2025 with your short-term rental business.